Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We're going to continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 3, Chapter 32. We're going to begin text 16. Yedva iha satta manasaha karmashu shraddha yanvitaha kurvanti apratis siddhani nityani apicha krits nashaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Persons who are too addicted to this material world execute the prescribed duties very nicely and with great faith. They daily perform all such prescribed duties with attachment to the fruitive result. In this and the following 6 verses, the Srimad Bhagavatam criticizes persons who are too materially attached. So what does it mean? Is Bhagavatam telling us not to do our prescribed duties? No, Bhagavatam is saying, yes, we should do our prescribed duties with the best of our ability, but with the satisfaction of Krishna. That we shouldn't get attached to the results of performing our duties. Why? Because such attachment will keep us here in the material world. But if we do our prescribed duties, whatever they may be, for the satisfaction of Krishna, by keeping Krishna in mind, then that will bring us to Krishna consciousness. That is the point that Srimad Bhagavatam is telling us to come to. The same Krishna tells to Arjuna, the same thing in Bhagavad Gita. You know, there is no contradiction in the scriptures. They complement each other. Lord Kapila Dev is saying the same thing what Krishna is saying to Arjuna and Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is telling Arjuna, you do your duty, but you do it with your mind attached to me. You think of me in my form of Krishna. You do your duty because it's pleasing to me, because I'm telling you to do it. So this is the way. Now someone will say, oh, it's my duty to be a butcher. Well, then that person has to consider, what does Krishna say? What does Krishna say in the Bhagavad Gita? That Krishna is not telling us to unnecessarily engage in killing of animals. And Krishna says that, for example, there are foods in different modes, food in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So if we are going to have that's an ignorant activity, then that becomes food in the mode of ignorance. And Krishna wants us to come to the mode of goodness. So it is enjoined in the Vedic scriptures that those who are attached to the enjoyment of material facilities have to sacrifice and undergo certain ritualistic performances. They have to observe certain rules and regulations in their daily lives to be elevated to the heavenly planets. It is stated in this verse that such persons cannot be liberated at any time. Those who worship demigods with the consciousness that each and every demigod is a separate god cannot be elevated to the spiritual world. What to speak of persons who are simply attached to duties for the upliftment of their material condition? So Krishna is saying, do your duty, but do it for my pleasure. Do it for my satisfaction. He's saying, don't get attached to the result of your activity. Why? Because we are not the body. Our time in this body is temporary and we have to give it up at a certain time. And so by engaging in our prescribed duties with attachment to Krishna, that is going to give us Krishna consciousness. But if we just do our duties to get attached to the result, keep the result for ourselves, that will continue to keep us in this material world. If we think the demigods, by worshipping the demigods, that we will get liberation, no, we are mistaken. The demigods cannot give us liberation. The demigods are not God. God is only one. There is not many gods. If everyone is a god, then there is no meaning to the word God. But God is one, and He's the supreme. He's the most powerful. And we simply have to revive our love for Him. And that is Krishna consciousness. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Rajasa kunta manasaha kamat mano jitendriyaha pitrin yajanti anudinam grihesha abhiratashaya. Such persons impelled by the mode of passion are full of anxieties and always aspire for sense gratification due to uncontrolled senses. They worship the forefathers and are busy day and night improving the economic condition of their family, social, or national life. So by reading this, then shall we give up all activity? Shall we stop working and do nothing else? No, we can't take, we have to understand the scriptures in the correct way. As we just said, that we do whatever we need to do, whatever duties we have, we do them to the best of our ability for the satisfaction of Krishna. Not only merely for maintaining the body, we have to maintain the body. We have to do our duties, whatever they are. Can't give them up prematurely because we are not on that stage of a pure devotee. Pure devotee, yes, he's already situated on the liberated platform. But for us, so we continue doing our duty for the satisfaction of Krishna. त्रैवर्गिकास्ते पुरुषा विमुखा हरिमेधसः कथायां कथा नेयोरु विक्रमस्य मधु द्विषः. Such persons are called Traivargika because they are interested in the three elevating processes. They are averse to the Supreme Personality of Godhead who can give relief to the conditioned soul. They are not interested in the Supreme Personality's pastimes, which are worth hearing because of his transcendental prowess. So according to Vedic thought, there are four elevating principles, namely religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. So the Vedas, they deal mostly with this, dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. What is that? Oh, I need to do dharmic activities, pious, material pious activities. Doing some dan, punya, doing some kind of a fasting, doing some kind of a penances. Why? So that I can have artha, economic development, to get some material benefit. Why? So then I can fulfill my material desires, kama, my sense gratification. And then what the Vedas say, after getting frustrated of seeing that, oh, I'm doing so much sense gratification, but I'm truly not, my heart is not happy. What's missing? Then one will come to the path of liberation. But persons who are simply interested in material enjoyment make plans to execute prescribed duties. They are interested in the three elevating processes of religious rituals, economic elevation, and sense enjoyment. So when we are too materially attached, we just say, oh, I will do some punya karma so that I can get a good facility for sense enjoyment. Means we are creating more further and further lives for us in this material world. By developing their economic condition, they can enjoy material life. Materialistic persons are therefore interested in those elevating processes which are called Trevargika. Tre means three, Vargika means elevating processes. Such materialistic persons are never attracted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rather, they are antagonistic towards Him. So, if we are too attached, we don't want to even hear about God. We don't want to understand, oh, that I'm not this body, I am the spirit soul. We're just thinking, no, I am this body. Everything that I'm seeing is for my enjoyment. And so let me work hard and just enjoy my senses. Then we are called Trevargika, just Dharma, Artha, and Kama. Stopping up to that, not understanding that there is a higher purpose. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is here described as Harimedaha, or He who can deliver one from the cycle of birth and death. So we are here in this material world. It's called samsara, the cycle of birth and death. How can we get free from this cycle? We cannot do it by our own independent will. If it was up to our independent will, we could go out and come back same as we desire. But no, only only God can take us out of this cycle of birth and death, or his pure devotees. God or his pure devotees can take us out. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Devi hi esha gunamai mama maya duratyaya. Mam eva ye prapadyante mayam ekam tarantite. He says that this divine energy of mine is very difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can very easily cross beyond it. So if we really want to put an end to the cycle of birth and death, we really want self-realization. We really want to be situated in our original position as part and parcel of Krishna. Then we simply have to surrender to Krishna. My dear Krishna, I am so sorry I was lost for so many long years. Now I wish to come back to you. Yeah. And we continue to hear and chant about Krishna. Materialistic persons are never interested in hearing about the marvelous pastimes of the Lord. They think that they're fictions and stories, and that the Supreme Godhead is also a man of material nature. So, if we uh, think that God and his leelas, his pastimes, are material, then we are mistaken. God and his leelas, his pastimes, his form are all spiritual. So they are eternal. And the more we hear about the pastimes of God, the more we will get, our heart will get purified. The closer we are getting to God, the closer we are getting to the spiritual world, towards liberation, towards understanding our own self as eternal parts and parcels of Krishna. So they are not fit for advancing in devotional service or Krishna consciousness. Such materialistic persons are interested in newspaper stories, novels, and imaginary dramas. So we are very interested. Okay, let me see what's the news. Let me see what's going on today. Let me see what's the new movie. Let me see my WhatsApp messages or my social media. But when it comes to hearing or it comes to chanting, then we say no, I don't have time. So the factual activities of the Lord, such as Lord Krishna's acting in the battle of Kurukshetra, or the activities of the Pandavas, or Lord's activities in Vrindavana Dwarka, are related in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, which are full of the activities of the Lord. But materialistic persons who engage in elevating their position in the material world are not interested in such activities of the Lord. They may be interested in the activities of a great politician or a great rich man of this world, but they're not interested in the transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord. So we can see how many of us are actually reading Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Barely, out of 7 billion people, majority of us want to know what's the news, what's the social media, who's the popular person. We don't want to hear about God. We just want to continue to um, act as thinking that we are the body. Whereas, in fact, what we should do is associate with the devotees and hear about Krishna, hear about God from Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Because by hearing, by chanting, by remembering the Supreme Lord, we can go back home, back to Godhead. Nunam devena vihata ye chachyuta katha shudam hitva shranvanti asagatha purisham eva vidbujaha. Such persons are condemned by the supreme order of the Lord because they are averse to the nectar of the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are compared to stool-eating hogs. They give up hearing the transcendental activities of the Lord and indulge in hearing of the abominable activities of materialistic persons. So we can see now with the internet more and more, how much percentage of the population is engaged in hearing about God and his activities, and how much percentage is engaged in hearing what's the popular thing happening, what's the news, what's happening, who is more popular now. So Bhagavatam is saying, by hearing of material people, we are acting like pigs, and what we are doing is eating stool. Now, Bhagavatam really uses very strong words, and some of us may get offended that how come Bhagavatam can say such things? But because Bhagavatam wants us to revive our love of God, Bhagavatam is there to take us to God, to develop our love of God, to bring us back home. So some of us need to be shaken up, when we are really sleeping deep sleep, to be shaken up, to get up, wake up. This is what Bhagavatam is trying to do. Everyone is addicted to hearing of the activities of another person, whether a politician or a rich man or an imaginary character whose activities are created in a novel. Like Harry Potter had become so famous, imaginary character, but so famous. Now, many people would know Harry Potter, but many might not know about Krishna and his pastimes. So there are so many nonsensical literature, stories, and books of speculative philosophy. Materialistic persons are very interested in reading such literature, but when they're presented with genuine books of knowledge, like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Puran, or other scriptures of the world, such as the Bible and Quran, they are not interested. When we go for book distribution, if we want to just distribute one book also, sometimes it takes very long. People are not interested to hear about God. But if presented with some fiction, very easy, people want to accept that. So all these are scriptures speaking about God, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Bible, Quran. How many people are reading these? These persons are condemned by the Supreme Order as much as a hog is condemned. The hog is interested in eating stool. If the hog is offered some nice preparation made of condensed milk or ghee, he won't like it. He would prefer obnoxious, bad-smelling stool, which he finds very relishable. So here now Prabhupada is explaining, why does Bhagavatam call us hog, stool-eating hog, if we are just interested in mundane literature? Because a hog, you give him nice desserts made of ghee and milk, rich. He doesn't want to eat that. He wants to eat all kinds of dirt and filth. So if we are rejecting the scriptures, we are rejecting the Vedas, and we want to just read all the nonsense, imaginary literature, or even there's so much. The whole internet is filled with so much. In what shall we say? So much content, which actually we don't even need to hear them. So materialistic persons are considered condemned because they're interested in hellish activities and not in transcendental activities. The message of the Lord's activities is nectar. And besides that message, any information in which we may be interested is actually hellish. So when we are hearing about God, about Krishna from Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, our restless hearts feel satisfaction. If it gives us bliss. But by just hearing about some great personality, some material personality, it might give us feelings of enviousness, or it might give us feelings of, doesn't fill our heart with bliss. And hearing about God, this activity is eternal. It helps us to remind us of our love of God. It's an eternal activity. It's never wasted. Even in the next life, if our consciousness, we have walked one step towards Krishna, in the next life, we will begin from that point. But when we're engaging in material activities, then It's lost. And in the next life, we have to begin from the beginning again. Everything is forgotten. But the spiritual activities which we do, that is never lost. Never. Even in the next life, we continue from that point. Whatever knowledge we gain in this life by hearing Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, if we take future lives, we will begin from that point. We don't have to start from the beginning. Not like, or if the child is born, he has to study ABC, then he has to go first grade, then 10th grade. No. So reading on, Dakshinena Partharya Manaha Pitralokam Rajanti Te Prajam Anuprajayante Smashananta Kriya Kritaha. Such materialistic persons are allowed to go to the planet called Pitralok by the southern course of the sun, but they again come back to this planet and take birth in their own families, beginning again the same fruitive activities from birth to the end of life. So many people worship the forefathers. And if we worship the forefathers, we can go to the planet. It's a hellish planet, but it seems it's a nice place. That's why many people want to go there, where all the ancestors live. But after the time is finished to be in that planet, we again come back to the earth planet. Why? To again create new karma. Again, the cycle continues of birth and death. In Bhagavad Gita 9 chapter verse 21, it is stated that such persons are elevated to the higher planetary systems. As soon as their lifetimes of fruitive activity are finished, they return to this planet and thus they go up and come down. So it's like, like a Ferris wheel. Ferris wheel goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down. So our life in this material world is like that. Sometimes we are in hellish planets, in hellish bodies. Sometimes we go up to the heavenly planets in heavenly bodies. Then again, we come to the earth. So it's like that, just going up and down. Those who are elevated to the higher planets again come back into the same family for which they had too much attachment. They are born and the fruitive activities continue again until the end of life. Some of us may be too attached. Oh, I am born in this family. And so we feel so great about it and we feel so good. Oh, family attachment. This is my family ancestors. This is my name. And, this is what we stand for. They come back in the same family because the attachment is there. There are different prescribed rituals from birth until the end of life, and they are very much attached to such activities. So just performing rituals for continuing to stay in the material world, Bhagavatam is telling we shouldn't do that. The goal of any activity is to revive our love of God. Whatever we want to perform rituals, okay, but the goal should be revive love of God. Perform whatever activities we need to do, but the goal should be, it should help us to revive our love of God. And so that's why we are always encouraged to hear and chant, because those are direct processes by which we can revive our love of God. Anyone had any comments on what we are reading? Because it's like directly attacking our modern civilization of what we are going through right now.
I was just remembering about in the 31st chapter, what we read, that the baby who's in the mother's womb is also praying, because at that time, that baby has complete knowledge. But as soon as the baby comes out, he is caught hold by Maya. And then it was also said that you get the body, like as you mentioned about the pigs and the hogs, that he's so satisfied in eating the stool, and even if you offer him anything delicious, he won't be interested, because his body, because we are given that body, that we feel satisfied in that body, because the Maya's covering is so strong that the Maya will make you feel satisfied in whatever body you are put in.
Do you remember any pastime to explain that point?
Yeah, that was, I remember Indra.
Yes.
When he had been cursed, and then he got the body of the pig, I think, or hog, I'm not sure. But then,
yeah, same.
same, right? So like he got the body of the pig, and then he was having so many children, and he was enjoying so much, and he had no clue that who he was. And then Brahmaji came and he said, "Oh, come, you are the king. You're not this. What you're doing?" He said, "No, no, I don't want to go. This is my family, my wife, my children. How can I leave them?" So we really don't know. And this was so beautifully explained in 31st chapter, like third canto, 31st chapter. It was so beautifully explained that how we are caught in this world, and we forget, and we get ourselves attached to small things. Even we get, see, it's totally agree that yes, we should get attached to, because our children are our responsibility. But if we get attached to, as said, that we'll come back again. So yes, we can get attached to them, but by in relation to Krishna, that, oh Krishna, thank you for giving me these children to so I can serve them. It's your plan. And then we trust him for everything, rather than, getting tensed or creating more problems for them, because they also have their journey. Every soul has a journey to do. And by doing that, we are also entangling that soul, and we are creating problems for that soul uselessly.
Yes, thank you. Yes. And just a point to note that when the child is praying in the womb of the mother, it's not all the children. Only some fortunate children do that. Because most of us have forgotten Krishna. Most of us have forgotten God. But there are few fortunate who remember. And so when they are in the womb of the mother, they pray to Krishna, please, I will be your devotee. But even when they come out, they forget. They forget about God.
And then to add to this, there was also that how beautifully they explain that the human birth that we have got is so precious and rare. It is not easy to, and then what are we doing with our life? We are just wasting it. And we are entangling ourselves more and more, so that yes, okay, don't worry, next birth I'm coming back. So rather, we should connect us. And there are so many opportunities before, I'm sure there were not. But yes, now there are a lot of opportunities. And I think there's no need of opportunity also. We just need to desire and pray to Krishna. He'll create an opportunity for us. We need to
That's
trust him.
right.
He'll create it.
Yes.
So we just need to pray. And I think Amrendra Prabhu said a very beautiful prayer. He said that, Krishna, please just don't let me forget you. I should always remember you, and I should always remember your lotus feet.
Mm. Yes, very nice. That's what the devotee always prays, that devotee prays for association with devotees. Always prays that Krishna, please don't let me forget you. Please help me to always remember you. Yes,
This is
thank
just a
you.
simple thing, nothing big, but
Mm.
I'm sure that this all prayers, just bowing down to Krishna just once in the morning, that we all do, is so valuable. We don't know how valuable it is.
Yeah, because by doing this, then we are showing to Krishna that, oh yes, I have a desire to come back home. I have a desire to revive my love for you. I have a desire to understand who I am truly. And Krishna fulfills all our desires. And as you rightly said, he makes the arrangements. He will make the arrangement. And we just have to accept Krishna's plans. That this is good for me. Krishna is my best friend. He knows.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you
I'm
so
just
much.
remembering Hare Krishna.
Hare
I'm just
Krishna.
thinking of when you talk of attachment, I'm just thinking of Arjuna and Krishna, how he's talking about, thinking of not being so weak at heart. Yeah. So,
That's right.
uh,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
wonderful. Yes. Thank you. Yes, Krishna is telling Arjuna, don't be a weak of heart and do your duty for my satisfaction. Yeah. Thank you. Very wonderful. So that's what the point is. We are being reminded of again and again that we need to continue to hear and chant so that we can somehow or the other revive our attachment for Krishna, because originally we are very attached to him. We have just forgotten it. And when we are regularly hearing and chanting, this attachment will be revived back. So thank you so much for listening and joining in. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai, Hare Krishna. Thank you all for your participation. Hari Bol.